to my channel. If you haven't already, please subscribe, that would be very much appreciated. But yeah, let's get straight into it. So this video I had an idea for to do something with CHC in high school, and I've had this idea for a while, but I feel like now is probably the right time to do it because I've actually finished high school now, so I don't have to go to school again. Well, not strictly speaking, but yeah, don't have to go back to like actual school again. But yeah, anyway, so I thought this was the best time to do it because I mean, I've had the full 7 years experience, so nothing new's changed, and I've done it all, so I feel like I could speak on it a bit more. Obviously not an expert, please don't quote and go by what I say, not everything that I get you can get or whatever, okay? So disclaimer, this is just my experience, yours will be completely different. I'm just telling you about me to give you like a rough idea of like what maybe you could ask for if you're starting high school, or what you could put in place, or whatever, just things to think of. So yeah, enough of me rambling on about what this video is about. Let's just kind of get into it. So I have made a list, it's a very long list, so you will have to bear with me, of like all of the special circumstances and things I had during high school. Some that I got straight as I went in first year, others as like I saw how I worked in high school. Wait, like I got more, if that makes sense. Like some of these things I didn't start doing until like GCSE A-level years, when it got a bit tougher. So yeah, I'll just start right off the bat, and this goes for like anyone I think, is to get in touch with your SENCO teacher, so special education needs coordinator, and just like let them know like what you have and everything, and you can get in touch with them even if you're not like statemented. So like I'm not statemented, so I don't have like statement or anything, so I just, yeah, like I'm not like registered. So we just went and spoke to her before we even actually knew what school I was going to, because there was two choices where I lived. It was like one or the other. We were kind of figuring I'm going to go to one of them. So we went to see SENCO, the teacher I did go to before I even knew that I was going to the school, just to try and see what could be put in place. And how she was, oh my word, she's the loveliest person ever. So she is, she's helped me so much throughout the whole 7 years. So yeah, I would really like, just as soon as you can, get in touch with your SENCO, just let her know like what the crack is. And she should be, they should be more than happy to help. Sorry, I keep saying she because mine was a girl. Sorry. But yeah, so what I basically used my SENCO was, she was like a basis for everything. So any issue I kind of had, I went to her instead of like maybe going to the teacher of that subject, or like whatever. Instead of going to different teachers for different issues, I just went straight to her and she sorted it out for me, which was great because it saved me hassle and running around, and it just meant it was all kind of done a bit more properly. But yeah, so she notified I swear every single member of staff in that school, even teachers that weren't my actual teachers from first year, knew, like had a rough idea of what was going on with me, which I thought was really good, because when I was in primary school, every year we had to like say to the new teacher, this is what she has and this is what it means. Whereas in high school, like I didn't even need to do that. And even maybe the odd time that I did have to say to a teacher, you know, like I can't do this because of my heart condition, they were like, okay, that's fine, you can go do something else, or we'll sort that with you, which I thought was really, really good. So yeah, definitely, number one, get in touch with your SENCO teacher, but you'd be stupid not to. Like, she's there, they're there to help you. So yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to list things that I got in first year, and some of them lasted, some of them didn't. But it's a bit of trial and error at the start, which you kind of, you have to do. So if I can remember, these are all things I started in first year or only had in first year. Okay, I am using my list because like my brain will just. So one of the things first things I got was double textbooks, because obviously when you go into high school, you're more grown up and you're thought of, you can carry and organise yourself a bit more. So obviously you have your own books for each class, and you're doing like 9 subjects, or more than that actually, probably like 15 subjects or something. So you've got a book for every single one of those subjects, and most of those subjects will have a textbook, like history and geography, etc, etc. And because of my heart condition, I struggle more with carrying heavy weights, so especially going up and down stairs in school. So I was allowed to have double textbooks, which basically meant I got one textbook that I kept at home for my homework, and then I got another textbook that stayed in that classroom that I had that class in, so that I wasn't carrying a textbook between classes or about school or to and from school, which obviously all my peers were. They had to lug these big heavy maths textbooks to and from class every lesson just in case they needed them, whereas I was like, could leave mine at home, leave one at home, leave one in the classroom, so all I needed to bring to that class was a notebook and my pencil case. Essentially that's all I needed for that specific class, which was great because that saved me so much. And it was, oh, I nearly felt bad for everyone else, especially when it got to GCSE year. I done additional maths, so we had like 4 maths textbooks, but the teacher never told us what one we needed per day. So everyone else in class was literally carrying like 4 textbooks every day for this one subject just in case, whereas I was like, I just have my notebook. My bag's really light, I just have my notebook and that's it. It saves me having to lug a big heavy bag around school, so definitely if you can do that, do that. I wasn't able to do it for every class because sometimes there's just not enough textbooks, and like you can't really argue with that, you know. School may only have 30 textbooks and there's 30 people in the class. You know, I was very lucky that there was classes that I did have extra textbooks in. But yeah, that was probably like the biggest thing that I've kept that going the whole way through school up until I left. While we're talking about books, I also left some books in classrooms, like my actual workbooks, because maybe there was a class that I didn't like have homework that much for, or maybe if I finished the homework in class or whatever, I was allowed to leave my book in the classroom. So this specific subject I did that for was history, and I'd done that right through again because I did history for A level as well, so I'd done it the right way through from first year to fourth to upper sixth. I actually had, my teacher was the best. I've had the best history teachers. I had a little drawer in the back of her room and it had a wee sticker on it and it was like Zoe's drawer, and in that drawer I could keep my double textbook and my notebook if I didn't have any homework. So that was great again because it meant I didn't actually need to bring anything for that subject except myself. But yeah, so some books I would have left in the class, which was really good, especially for little first year me who's incredibly small. Okay, so this thing I only had in first year and I only used in first year, and I'll like tell you, sorry, I'm just refixing myself. I'll tell you why I only done it in first year. So first year I got a lift pass because a lot of my classrooms were on the 3rd floor, so that was 3 flights of stairs I had to walk up with my heavy bag, even though it wasn't as heavy as other people's, it was still heavy for me, with my bag and my books, and I had to walk up 3 flights of stairs to classes. So you could imagine I was getting tired quite quickly, and walking about school. Obviously in high school you do walk about a lot more, you're not just in the one class all day long, you're all over the show. So I got a lift pass for, we had 2 lifts in the school, so we did, and so I used that for a good bit of first year. I can't remember being all of first year, definitely, like I only got it about probably like a month or so into first year because when then we decided it was something I needed. And it was literally just a slip of paper from, was it the vice principal or something, just to say this person is allowed on the lift, because we weren't allowed to use the lifts unless we had a specific reason in our school. So I got that, and it just meant I could just show it to anybody if they questioned me, just like about a wee pass. But yeah, I stopped using it purely because I had to get out 5 minutes before the end of every class to go and get the lift because it was slow. So I was kind of like either leaving class 5 minutes early or being 5 minutes late. And also the lift in our school was really slow and scary. Like you press the button and say you wanted to go from 1 to 2, so you're at 1 and you hit the button, it would go up to 3 and then come straight back to 1, but like nobody was on it, so like what? So yeah, it was a bit dodgy. It was slow and it was like loud. So that was partly why I stopped using it as well, because I was like, I'm gonna get stuck in here one day and I don't need that. No, I'm terrified enough as first year. So yeah, I only had that in first year. And you know what I mean? I probably could have like renewed it and used it if I wanted to. Like nobody would have said no. But yeah, I just felt like I didn't need to anymore. So I didn't. I just probably a bit of a social aspect in there as well, because I was like, I had to ask out of class early and somebody had to come with me to use the lift, and it was like really like spot the one that needs to use the lift, you know. So probably that way, and you're missing a bit of conversation and stuff, walking between classes by yourself. But yeah, you can, if you can, ask for it. I did. It was useful. Okay, so I think that's all the stuff that was kind of like I specifically done. I don't know, I started this system I specifically done in first year, but a lot of those things I did carry on. But yeah, they're all quite general, to be honest. Things that I have and haven't done. So my school had lockers and I used that to its full advantage. I went before school, after school, break, lunch, sometimes, if depending on what classes I had and like the route we took to each class, I would have like quickly snuck into my locker in between classes to change books. So if your school does have lockers, use them. There's people that I know who didn't use their lockers, and I'm just like, how did you carry all your day's books and bags and stuff? No, could not be for me. And then also, whenever we moved up into sixth form, our lockers changed. So my locker went from being on the first floor, which is obviously the best, ground floor, you know, as soon as you walk into school, bam, there's your locker. Whereas in sixth form, the lockers were moved up into the sixth form common room, which was in the third floor. So this was like a trek to get up to your locker in the mornings, and like breaking lunch and stuff. It was like, I'm going up these stairs just for no reason. So when I was in upper sixth, which is A levels, I started using the SENCO's room as like another little base in between classes, because it would take too much time, too much energy to go the whole way up 3 floors to get a book and come back down in between classes or breaking lunch. I would sometimes just do like a whole load and come into her room at like lunch with, okay, these are my books for this afternoon, can I just leave them here? And then they just ended up being like a little pile. I had like a little pile. I would have done that, and it just meant I could like zip across in between classes and stuff, and I didn't have to carry, like, I brought my laptop quite a lot in A levels for art, so I did, and health and social care, so it just meant that I could, instead of having to carry the laptop up and down stairs, I could just leave it in her room. It was probably actually safer in her room as well than in my locker, so yeah, that helped a lot. We're going to be talking about the joys of PE, physical education. This was not my favourite subject and never had been. I'm not a big fan of the exercise. So I'm not a big fan. So as probably most people with congenital heart disease do know, especially if you're on warfarin, you're more prone to bleeding. If you get hurt, if you fall, you're more likely to bruise. So contact sports aren't really allowed. So like rugby, hockey, I don't know anything like that basically. We're not allowed to play, and I didn't play. I was like, this is a great escape. I don't have to play hockey, because our school, all the girls started playing hockey and all the boys done rugby. They were very sport focused that way. So I was like, thank goodness I don't need to do this. So yeah, I was allowed to maybe do like the skills of hockey. So like I could use a hockey stick and the ball and pass it back and forth to people. Playing in matches was a no-no, and like I couldn't do netball matches, but I could do netball skills. So that kind of stuff, I was allowed to learn the skills of everything and the rules, but not allowed to participate when we actually played matches. And so I wasn't like left out sitting on the sidelines bored for like an hour every week. Some of my teachers were very, very good, and they allowed me to referee instead, so it also meant I was still learning, just learning it slightly differently to everybody else, because I was being the referee and I had to like blow my whistle whenever somebody did something wrong, or like tell them what to do and stuff. So I had a little bit of power, you know. Yeah. So that's what I did. So it allowed me to still be involved, but without the risk of like concussion or, you know, internal bleeding, which was great. I was also allowed more rest in PE. So as you know, breathing's not the best, blood circulation's not the best, so I tire easily. So it meant that if I was tired, I could just like, I didn't even have to say to anyone. I just went and sat out and sat on the bench or sat on the ground. If we were outside, I just went and sat down with my bottle of water and was like, I'm taking a break. Especially when we done like running and stuff, when it was the athletics season. I was like, I pushed myself to run because I wanted to. Like, I wanted to kind of show off and be able to go home and say I did actually run that. But then, like, for like 10 minutes after, I was like really warm and my chest was So maybe don't do what I did, but you know. So yeah, I was allowed to walk, not run. We did this like mile timed thing every year, and I was allowed to walk it instead of running it. And I would just like to add that I was never last. There was people who had no reason to walk and were walking, and they were behind me. So I'm pretty proud of that fact, and I will always tell somebody that, like, well, at least I wasn't last. You can call me being slow, but at least I wasn't last. Also, to do with PE, obviously being outside, again, the bad circulation, bad breathing, I get cold easier, especially when I was younger. My like lips and my fingernails would have went purple when I got really cold, and that only happens now like if I'm outside for ages in absolute freezing cold. It doesn't happen as quick as it used to. But yeah, so because we were outside, sometimes I was either allowed to stay in if it was too cold, stay in and maybe do homework or something, like just do something else or join another class, stay in, kept me warm. Or if we did go outside, this I only did this in first year, because I feel like in first year you're not as embarrassed. You're kind of embarrassed, but like not as much, because you're still like young. Was I was allowed to wear extra layers. So we had our school colours and our PE kit. You did have Canterbury's and tracksuit zip up top, which we wore, but like nobody ever really wore them because like they didn't look nice. You know, the skirt was much nicer and the black leggings were a lot nicer. So you kind of stuck out like a sore thumb when you wore your full tracksuit, so you did. But I was allowed to wear extra layers, so it had to be school colours. So my mum got me like a navy hat and navy gloves and like a navy snood, because snoods were like all in whenever I was in first year, like they were the thing. And like navy snood, so I would have wore them out like playing hockey. Everyone else is in their like skirt and their like knee-high socks and just white t-shirt, and I'm there in the Canterbury's and the jacket and the hat and the scarf and the gloves. So yeah, I probably didn't look the best, but I was at least a bit warmer. Lastly, I think this is lastly, I mean, I've ticked off all the boxes on the page, but still I haven't talked about anything. Maybe I've just talked too fast. But yeah, so whenever I was in first year to, was it third year or fourth year? I can't quite remember. But I was on this medicine called Captopril, and you need to take it 3 times a day, 6 hours between. So I took it like 8 a.m, 2 p.m, and 8 p.m. That was my timing for it, so I had to take it during school. And so to do that during school, that was a bit of a weird thing to start with. Like I never really, I don't care if somebody sees me taking medicine. Like I really could not care less. So yeah, but it was just weird trying to get it sorted, like to fit in my timetable and stuff. So what would have happened was one of the classroom assistants or the SENCO herself would have came to like get me during class, and you would have just seen her like appear at the window like tapping it like, because she didn't want to interrupt the class, just to bring me out to take my tablet, because I was still like quite young then, and didn't allow me to have my medicine on me in school, probably just for like pastoral care reasons and health and safety and stuff, in case that medicine got into the wrong hands, basically. I could only assume. And so the classroom assistant had to come round and like get me. I was like, there's your tablet, taking it in the middle of the corridor. But yeah, I actually quite liked it. I know, made me feel a little bit important. Being like, can I leave class for 5 minutes to go get my medicine? Thanks. Let me have a little walk about school, you know, and let me go and have a wee chat with the SENCO. So yeah, and it was always, especially in first year junior school, so obviously like these are brand new people in your class, like from all over the show. I actually thought it was really nice, because sometimes I wouldn't see the classroom assistant coming, or I wouldn't like see her at the door, and there would just be like slowly build up, like people in my class would just turn and be like, Zoe, she's there for you, Helen's there, Zoe. Which I thought was nice, and that lasted up until 4th year, and then I changed medicines, so I only take them in the morning and at night, so I didn't have to take any during school. It was actually quite sad, because I didn't get to leave class anymore. I didn't have an excuse other than, can I use the toilet or go to my locker? So yeah, it was nice to have that excuse. I shouldn't be saying that at all. But yeah, that was that chaotic video. I'm gonna try and put like the video chapters, so that obviously if you're only here for like if you're here and you only want to know what I done in PE or what I done for books, then it's obviously easier got to. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you got this far, well done on you, pat on the back. Please subscribe, like, comment, share. It's all really, really appreciated. Also follow me on Instagram at Fleck, and that will also be linked down below. But yeah, see you next time, and bye.